like it. Who's a man, dog? Come on, wake him up.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to Gryd, the Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Brock Eisman, sports psychologist, outdoorsman, and the founder of Off to Grid Therapy. Let's get after it. Enjoy the show.
Trying to fight a war, but I lose myself. What is living for if I burn in hell?
What's up, you guys? All right, so for this episode, we're going to be outside by the fire, and you're going to hear the fire. I'm going to be feeling the fire in the middle of summer. And I felt like this episode was going to be a really good time to bring the podcast out and sit by the fire. I want to do this more, so I'll hear from you guys and see if this is actually a good thing or not, because believe me, it's really, really hot right here. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, welcome to Gryd, the Mindset Podcast. I wanted to start off today with a question, and it's a question that I have kind of been bouncing around in my head for a while now. The men's mental health, it's talked about quite a bit today. Probably more now than it ever has before. And we have podcasts, including this one. We have podcasts, we have therapists, we have books, we have awareness organizations, social media posts all over the place talking about men's mental health. And it's June, so obviously this month it's talked about a lot more, rightfully so. But the problem with men's mental health, it seems to be going up, right? It's increasing, it's not decreasing, even with all these resources. So why is that? Nearly 80% of suicides in the US are men, and millions of men in the US, they suffer from anxiety or depression, and most of these guys don't talk about it, so those numbers are just probably astronomical, right? So why is that? Is the men's mental health system broken? Can nature, being outside, be the missing link to help men? This is what we're going to cover today while we're outside. So first, I want to say that I do believe in traditional therapy. Psychotherapy, it's needed and it's life-changing, even life-saving for some people. But I also believe that it's not a one-size-fits-all. There are other options out there. If psychotherapy hasn't worked for you, or if you've never been to psychotherapy, this is going to be a really good listen for you, okay? I've spent my career working in psychology, helping people navigate through adversity, through loss, through performance, identity struggle, mental health challenges, right? That's kind of what I've been doing for the past 10 years of my life. I studied psychology in college, and I have my master's in sports psychology, so I know the importance of therapy, right? Psychotherapy itself, it's only about 130 years old. People absolutely have healed before. They've healed before this, and they've healed through nature, they've healed through community, through faith, through shared hardship, through storytelling and mentorship, right? My deeper question, have we forgotten some of the older ways men healed before therapy even existed? Because I believe the struggles, they're not necessarily new. The way that we are healing are, okay? Like none of those struggles that we go through, and I want that to hit home. The struggles, they're not new, but the way that we heal, they are. I think we've lost sight of those older ways. And I'm not here to please every single therapist that listens in on this podcast. Hear me out. I'm here for the individual, you, who's listening right now. The person who knows that they need help, but for whatever reason, maybe the 1,000 reasons that you give, is not walking into that office to go and talk. And every single person around you, your family, your friends, your kids, depending on you to take care of yourself, I want to fix that. Your mental, your physical, your spiritual health, they need to be the focus. Not overlooked, not pushed away. It needs to be right now. And like I said in the last episode, make the time. People in your life, they care about you. They love you. But if you're sitting there and you're saying, nobody cares about me, nobody loves me, right? Because I'll probably get someone messaging me like, oh, dude, I don't have anybody. I'm the problem. dealing with the shame and feeling alone, there are people out there. There's people who've made it like their entire life's practice in the service of empathizing and listening to you, right? For caring for you. Reach out to them. Reach out to these organizations that would love more than anything to sit with you and walk with you through this journey, because life is really hard. And just because it's hard, it doesn't mean that you quit. I talk about this a lot. We don't quit, right? Start again and start again and start again. And once you start to realize that control aspect, you lose that control aspect from starting over and over and over and over again, ask for help with the right person in the right place and at the right time. Because honestly, the time is right now. Okay. Back to today's topic. When was the last time that you went in to nature and sat by a river? Was it peaceful? Is that memory inside of your head, is it a good one? I would say that it most likely was, if you've ever sat by a river. There's plenty of research out there to back what I'm about to bring to you guys up, and I'll kind of talk about them a little bit. But most of the research that I'm going to bring up, it's about being out in nature and what that actually does for someone's mental health. And there's specifically cool ones about water. So the very first research study, it is by Kaplan in 1995. And Kaplan went out and explored the restorative benefits of nature. They found that natural environments restore attention and reduce mental fatigue. Nature allows the brain to recover from constant directed focus. Another study by Britton in 2020, they tried to figure out the health benefits from the physical and the environmental and what each of them, how they played a role in that. So what they found was that water environments, these blue spaces, combined with physical activity, it produced an insane amount of mental health benefits. And the activity and environment, both of those together, produced the most effective. And then the final study, Caddick, Smith, and Phoenix in 2015, they took a bunch of combat veterans out to surf. Obviously, what they found when they went surfing was that they had improved mood, they felt connected, their overall well-being increased, and some of the participants in the study, they were like, dude, I feel normal again. Obviously, that's a great study. Men often heal through experiences before they heal through conversation. So that is my takeaway from those 3 research studies, and I just wanted to throw them in this episode. Nature itself can improve our mood, right, and restore our attention. That's mainly because of the intense amount of disconnect that we feel from always being connected. Like our phones are always right here. Every single thing that we do, it's always connected. So the disconnect of going out in nature, absolutely amazing. It restores our attention. It gives us a chance to stop performing for an hour or 2 hours, because we're performing always. Our environment absolutely matters. Being out in nature absolutely matters. Most guys today, including myself, I wake up to an alarm. I constantly check my phone. I'm looking at emails. I'm scrolling through other people's lives on social media. I come home to my family exhausted. That is something that I repeat every single week, every single month, and year after year, okay? And I know that most guys feel that way too. So this is something really serious. And I seriously do not think that we were designed for this. As human beings, being that connected all the time, I do not think that we were designed for that. That empty cup pouring out like that on all these different things, where's your refill? Where is your recharge? Most guys will go to booze, they'll go to distractions, they'll go to partying, they'll do anything, except for trying to figure out how to intentionally go and recharge, how to go and reset, how to disconnect properly so we can reconnect when we go back home, right? That phrase, disconnect to reconnect, okay? That's what all of this is about. I can't make a fish bite, right? When I'm fishing. I can't change the flow of the river. The wave that I surf is always going to look different every single time. Nature demands ultimate presence with the unpredictability in a world where if we don't know that the answer, like we'll just Google it. If we don't know the answer, we'll just ask AI to figure out what it is, right? There's no faith. Like there's no, the control aspect and the knowledge that we have at our fingertips. Like it's absolutely insane. To be honest, like the wisest guys that I have ever met on these trips through my life, even mentors that I've had, they absolutely can know to an extent, but the older that they've gotten, they've realized that to be okay with not knowing and to still do something, right? I think that it's something that if I could teach any younger kid, and I talk about this a lot with younger guys, but it's, if you could learn one thing, and if you're younger and you're listening, have this be the thing that resonates. If you've made it this far, and I know the younger guys have a harder time trying to pay attention, but to not know and to be okay with that. It's a really hard thing to do. This is honestly what nature does for me. Okay. I think that we need more. We need more of it. We need a lot more nature. The goal is not nature or therapy. It can be therapy and nature. And when I read the Bible, for me, when I read the Bible, and I'm always amazed by how often God speaks to people outside in nature, like Moses in the wilderness and David in the fields, right? Sorry, the smoke. David in the fields, Elijah on the mountain, John the Baptist in the desert, and Jesus repeatedly going out into the wilderness to pray, like over and over and over again. Nature gives me the opportunity to become quiet, and honestly, quiet enough for me to actually listen. Okay? So, is the men's mental health system broken? I do not think so. But I do think that it's incomplete. We spend a lot of time talking about what men need, and instead of asking, what is the best solution? Maybe we ask, what combinations of things can help men heal the best? Because I think that the wilderness is something that our society as a whole has forgotten. If you guys have any questions on today's episode and the things that I've talked about, absolutely feel free to reach out, shoot me an email. Email will be down below. Thank you for listening to today's episode on Gryd, the Mindset Podcast. If you like this podcast, please make sure and subscribe and give us a review. The reviews help get our message out and will help us continue to keep giving out free content to further our mission. Off the Gryd is now a not-for-profit organization, so if you feel led to donate, our link for donation is in the show notes, or head over to the website to sign up for a trip and see all the other Gryd media. We're pretty stoked on it. So until next time, get off the grid, find your why. Peace.
This episode is brought to you by Mahogany Smoked Meats. Ever since I was a kid, my dad and I would always stop at Mahogany Smoked Meats before whatever adventure we were headed on, grabbing beef jerky and sandwiches for the road. Now, years later, it's so rad seeing Mahogany become part of the Off the Grid trips. They've been family-owned since 1922 out of Bishop, California, still doing things the old-fashioned way. You can genuinely taste the difference. Go support the businesses that still believe in quality, tradition, and bringing good people together. Mahogany Smoked Meats.
Trying to find